I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On, Light Through, episode 388, my review of the fifth episode of Dark Matter, up on Apple TV earlier today. And, well, it appears that Jason 1 has learned a crucial lesson in this fifth episode of this fascinating, compelling series. And that lesson is, wait a minute, here's my obligatory warning about spoilers. But that lesson is what he needs to do in his original world, World 1. Jason needs to block it off, block the box off, so no one can use it. That is, no one can get out of World 1. Now, Jason found out about this the hard way. Jason 1, that is. He and Amanda were treated in this episode in God knows how many different bizarre worlds. They were treated to a succession of differing horrendous realities as they tried with all their might to will the world they were going into being. They tried to go into worlds that were hospitable, that were indeed their original world or a world that was close to that. And the lesson that they learned last week was that they and we thought that that was the way you could get to the world, the alternate reality that you wanted to enter. But as the two applied that logic, the world-creating power of a feeling. Hey, I was thinking they could have put in B.J. Thomas's Hooked on a Feeling. That would have worked well here in the background, though I gotta tell you, I think his Rock and Roll Lullaby is such an outstanding record. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, it'll be alright, la-la-la-la. Anyway, enough of my singing. But as Jason 1 and Amanda tried to apply this logic, they found that the worlds they had entered were flooded, racked by a deadly plague. That sounds familiar. And last but not least, they got to a world in which the analog of Jason 1 was in prison, presumably convicted for some kind of terrible crime. So Jason 1, now presumably back in World 1, says he needs to wall it off. That is, wall the conduit off to these alternate worlds, because so far the worlds in their own way are going from bad to worse. The worlds that are not racked by floods and plagues, and even where everyone seems to be alive, his world that he finds himself in is by no means alive and well, as exemplified by that world in which he goes to see Daniela, only to find out that her Jason, who presumably is someone close to him, is locked away in prison somewhere. But if you think about it, closing off a world, closing off World 1, will of course prevent far more from Jason and Amanda not being able to use the box in the alternate realities anymore. What it will also mean is that everyone currently in World 1 will be stuck there, including, guess who, Jason 2, which means that Jason 1 will have to share his bed and a lot more with Daniela 1 and Jason 2. And God knows what else will result from who knows who else is in World 1, because remember, some of this alternate interworld travel has been going on even before the beginning of this series. That is, in the metaphysical universe in which this series takes place. So, two Jasons inhabiting the same world would be pretty rough on both Jasons, right? And that means, of course, that once Jason 2 goes through the box room into World 1, everyone's life in the infinity of worlds would, in one way or another, be worse than it was before. At least that's what the evidence of what we've seen so far in this wild series would strongly suggest. Although, truthfully, I'm not sure. But I certainly don't hold out much prospect for a happy ending in this excellent, bizarro, complex story.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
And I hope you enjoyed that review of Dark Matter Episode 5. I'll be back here next week, maybe with another review of Dark Matter. I hope you're enjoying these reviews. There are some good new television shows that are going to be up streaming, though, in the weeks ahead. You know, The Lazarus Project that I reviewed, I guess, a couple of months ago, the first season of which was on and still is on TNT here in the United States. It originated in the UK. Well, the second season of The Lazarus Project, which already has played in the UK. That's finally coming to TNT here in a week or two, and I'll certainly start reviewing that as well. And of course, as always, I may have an interview with who knows who in the weeks ahead. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and enjoy.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplottoSaveSocrates.com.
Your brilliant story, it's real life.
Paul Levinson's Silk Code, about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.
Reading